Charlie, tell them that Jim made that. Do people know that?
They will in about 2 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So, if Jim were here right now, he would probably be yelling, "Hey Charlie, do you need a box to stand on? We can't see you." Always with the shark jokes, right Bronco? I can hear his laugh in my ear right now as he's standing right next to me. So I hope everyone can see me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Charlie Belveal, and I was part of Jim's Wells family for many years. And over the years, Jim, Laura, Katie, and Ellie became part of my own family. To Laura, Katie, Ellie, and all of Jim's family, from my family, the Wells family, we love you all from the bottom of our hearts, and thank you for letting us have Jimmy and be part of our lives. Jim was hired at Wells back in 2003. He had been doing some substitute teaching prior to that, and a few of us encouraged him to apply for a teaching position at Wells. He loved to brag about how he interviewed the stories. Of course, he repeated many times. Our principal, Waylon Shepard, called Jim and asked him to come down for an interview. Jim replied, "I'm sorry, Waylon, but I'm on a lake in Tennessee fishing with my dad right now." Waylon thought that was the coolest thing ever, so they conducted the interview over the phone with Jimmy casting out into the water, answering interview questions at the same time. Of course, Jim got the job, and so began his career at Wells. And by the way, it didn't hurt that Jimmy's middle name was Waylon. In the years that followed, Jim became a feature at our morning coffee sessions, meeting in my room with the other teachers to enjoy our Folgers coffee and talking about whatever came to mind. A bunch of us still meet every morning, sharing our stories of Jimmy. Many of Jim's Wells family are here today. While at Wells, Jim taught many different subjects and grade levels. 6th grade English and History, 8th grade English and History, PE, art, to name a few. However, his first love, his passion, was being a wood shop teacher. Like his dad, he was a born shop teacher. His true light shined in that shop. He loved being in there cutting wood, prepping for the next big project, making stuff for the Wells Crab Feed auction. So many cool projects. Nitro cars with a race down the H building hallway each semester, gumball machines, cutting boards, pens, the list goes on and on. Jim was a master craftsman. He could build just about anything in his shop. He built this podium. He loved this thing. He bragged about it a lot. He never bragged. Our buddy Rob said there probably wasn't a tool that Jimmy didn't know how to use effectively. And if there was, he'd learn and master it. Or he would just lie and tell you he knew how to use it anyway. Jim had real connections with kids, especially middle school kids. What can I say? They love their Mr. Redding. He loved them. Just this past Wednesday, a bunch of them showed up at Wells before going over to start their day at Dublin High. And they came to decorate the wood shop door. They put up Redding bucks. That's his impact. Years later, kids still had those darn Redding bucks that they saved to remember him by. Some of those items that they left are here today. They're in the back there. It wasn't only the good kids that Jim loved. He also made connections with kids who seemed to find trouble, creating lasting relationships with them. His sweat hogs, as he would affectionately say. In other words, they were all good kids. His students had a closeness with him. They felt at ease. They felt that he needed to share things. Maybe it was his easygoing way that he had about him. They would share or say just about anything. One particular time in the middle of class, a student blurted out, "Mr. Redding, I think you should date my mama." Jim, not missing a beat, replied, "Well, I don't think Mrs. Redding would appreciate that." The student simply said, "So, I won't tell." A lot of you have heard that story many times. He loved to tell that one. On the Monday after Jim's passing, the staff at Wells got together to share stories, give out hugs, and just remember our Jimbo. However, a few of us said, Jim would have probably walked into the room and said, "What's going on? Why is everyone here?" We would have replied, "Well, Jim, didn't you see the email to meet in my room?" What email would have been Jimmy's response? Jim was notorious for having thousands of unread emails. And another thing that Jim seemed to have a dislike for was computers and technology. A master craftsman and talented artist he may have been, but technology was not Jimmy's forte. Countless mornings, AJ or myself would get a call or a text, "Come home, help me get my computer going," or "My computer isn't projecting to the screen." "Jim, did you make sure it was plugged in?" Always an easy fix. He would say, "Cool, right on, man, thanks." I will really miss those days. So believe it or not, once in a while, Jim liked to go out and have a good time. And that included good times with the Wells staff. He hosted legendary end-of-the-year parties. Always good food, always good drink to be had, and even a comfortable couch available if you needed a place to crash for the night. But the main attraction of the party, and frankly, many of you know, any party that Jimmy had, was his amazing ribs. One of the many things he mastered in life, he used food to bring people together. It was always about the people. He loved people. He loved being, he loved being around his friends. And like it's been said a lot today, he was accepting of everyone he knew. If you asked Jim to meet for a drink or two after school, inevitably he would say yes. He would sit by your room or send you a text saying, "Let's go, T," or "Hurry up, dude, I'm buying." He was always up for anything or going anywhere. Of course, we would always say, "Did you check with Laura first?" Jim had a tendency to forget about previous plans. So many good times, so many laughs with Jimmy. Jim also loved to golf, but he never mastered that one. He was always up to playing hooky from school and hitting the golf course with me, Chuck, Rob. Everyone at Wells always knew what we were doing. They didn't care. Neither did we. I could go on, and there are so many stories about Wells. But I want to take this time to share my own personal thoughts. Jim and I quickly became friends when he started at Wells. And that friendship grew to be more. We became family. My family soon became his family and vice versa. He became an uncle to my boys and a guy I knew I could always count on. He really did have a genuine big heart. I think many of you know this to be true. Jimmy made me a better person because of that big, caring heart. I have many stories and many memories about Jim that I would love to share, but I'm just going to keep those. Jimmy would probably be annoyed by now and be yelling, "I was going on too long, and let's get going." So I'd like to end with this. During the last 22 months, I often said to myself, I need to do more for Jim. I need to be there more. I need to fix this. I need to force that damn cancer to go away. I knew I couldn't fix this, so I tried to be the best friend I could. We all had our own unique relationships with Jim, and they're all very special, mine included. I don't know the words to use to describe the friendship I had with Jim. I guess this is the best I can do without sounding too cliche. The friendship I had with Jimmy was something you get once in a lifetime. He was my best friend. He was everybody's best friend. I will cherish his friendship and his memories I had with him until my last days. Thank you, Jimmy. I love you. Save me a seat at the bar. Martinis are definitely on you.